Hello. Today we are with the one and only Lars Rottweiler of Mbanq. Good to see you, Lars.
Good to see you, Sallyann. Hi there. How are you doing?
Very well, very well. So it's really exciting. First of all, let me ask you a question. How does it feel to be an NFT?
Well, not much different, being honest. But it's an exciting time, obviously, being leader of the pack here and being on such a new initiative right present. So it's really
Well,
wonderful and looking forward to what happens. So it's very exciting.
listen, it's a privilege for us to have us. So we're going to keep it short and we're going to keep it
Okay.
20 minutes. And we're really going to talk about, for anyone who is interested in Lars the NFT, this is where, we're going to ask all the questions and we're going to get to learn a little bit about really what you're up to, Lars, and what you're excited about. So, I'm going to go into the first question right away. If you were right now, what's your dream project right now to work on with, for whoever's out there, right? Your dream project to work on with an individual or a country or an organization, like think big, wide, and tall. What's the
Okay.
dream project?
So I think to set the stage here, my background is obviously in opening banks, right? And open new banks and disrupting the banking market. Dream project is quite clear for me. I want to open a bank in the sky, so anywhere outside of the universe, which is without any regulations behind, because the sky is free, right? So that's why I say I want to open a bank on top of a satellite anywhere in the sky. And I always say dreams come true, so I'm really working on it and have this in mind. And if there is the right partner able to support this, obviously we're really happy to build a bank in the sky.
So I have a question. Is this a bank in metaverse when you say a bank in the sky? Or is this a
Well,
bank
ideally,
without,
yes. Yeah,
like, what
actually, good
do you mean
question.
by
So
that? Let's
it
understand.
definitely should end up in the metaverse, right? And I think we are looking for a future of having a universal currency one day, or whatever will be built, and it needs to be in a deregulated market, right? A market which has no regulation. So the only market which has no regulation is the sky, the universe. So
Okay.
and that
Okay.
leads them back to metaverse, obviously.
Okay. All right. My next question for you. Tell us about your typical day. Your typical day, being the CTO and the founder of a digital bank.
Well, it's not digital bank. We open digital banks, right? We have the
Yeah.
platform to open digital banks. Typical day starts with talking, obviously, to my team members. We have daily synchronizations. Usually, I take the dog for a walk and then have my phone calls next to it and spend the first hour of the day to sync with everyone, that everyone is on the same pace. And I'm in the lucky situation that I then can have, let's say, so many different various calls and meetings to meet really people which building banks with us. I want to go this direction. So it's more about, let's say, every day is new. Every day is I plan throughout the day somehow, except of those rituals, starting with the day with the team since, and have them probably a lot of clients in between.
So question, where are your teams? If I recall, you have teams all over the world.
Yeah, quite all over the world. Headquarters based in the US. We're a Silicon Valley-based company. We have a lot of teams in Europe, various countries, Germany. We are Switzerland. We are based in Croatia, Montenegro, UAE, Dubai. We are in what did I forgot? Cambodia, Singapore, Kazakhstan. So we're quite global. Yeah, India. Obviously, we have a big team.
Yeah. And how many banks have you opened this year?
Well, I cannot give it names and numbers here because it's kind of under disclosure, but it's close to, we opened so far close to, let's say, triple digits of number of banks here.
Wow. So you're not a digital bank yourself, but anyone who wants to open up a bank. So explain that to our listeners. Explain maybe a typical type of business that might be looking at financial services and might be considering your platform.
So let's say like this. We started with ambition to have an IT platform which does everything a bank needs to do, right? And we developed a solution that we can migrate existing banks on top of the platform, which we quite successfully do and did many, many times, right? And still ongoing. But out of that, we developed the side stream of a business where we said there are neobanks coming up, and those neobanks need a platform too. So our platform is good for them. But
Yeah.
most of them, or many of them, are non-banks with a background. So they don't have the capacity and the skills, let's say, in regulations and compliance, in disbursement management, lending management. So that's why we added in a lot of as a services underneath. So we have lending as a service, disbursement as a service, compliance as a service, regulatory as a service, and so on. So we have the teams which operating like a bank for our clients, which are the bank. And we also have the banking license, which are required for it. So we can passport our banking license to our clients. This led to many, many new banks with fantastic IDs, many fintechs which have, let's say, IDs in payment services. We have pure fiat focused banks. We have hybrid banks. We have fiat and cryptocurrency or purely cryptocurrency. We have banks which do tokenization. We have green banks. We have high net worth banks. We have classic bank, retail banks. You find quite everything in the portfolio. Some are rather small. Some others are really major big. So we have the whole portfolio of banks.
So I know you mentioned to me that I should be considering opening a bank for GLEAC. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, our community is growing fast, right? We have a good group here. And if the GLEAC, human identity space, every human identity in the digital world or in the metaverse as well in the real life, will need to have a platform to perform financial transactions. And therefore, a bank is kind of a handy tool, right? And the metaverse bank obviously deals much more, let's say, with digital payments, but also probably with digital securities, right? Tokenization of assets, which I'm a huge fan of it. I think in 10 years from now, everything will be tokenized. Every asset in a corporate world, definitely.
Yeah. You know what? I was having
lunch.
Could
be the first, right? Why not?
Yeah.
Take a look.
So first of all, Lars, it's GLEAC, geek with an L, but that's GLEAC. Okay. Everybody pronounces it.
I pronounced it German. Sorry for that.
And you're so right about everything being able to be tokenized. I was with a local Emirati NFT, one of our NFTs who's joining us. And it's so interesting. She was talking about her body of work, and she said, I was thinking of doing a recipe book. She's on Discovery Channel and all of these things, for her cooking. She's one of our wild cards. And I looked at her and, a lovely lady in her 50s, Sumaya, and I said, well, why don't you bring out the recipe book, be the first Arab female to bring it out as an NFT on blockchain? So you know what? You never know.
Giving the cooking class directly as an NFT, right? In virtual world.
So tell me, Lars, what is exciting you most about your sector right now? And when you say you're fintech, I think your sector is fintech, right?
Yeah, it's a fintech, right? I mean, we are not a small fintech, we're quite significant fintech, but it's definitely, let's say, the new era of financial services. And I mean, we started really to disrupt the common world, right? I mean, when I was a child, it was an honor to be a banker, right? Later on, I was a really high-position banker at Deutsche Bank and managing director there. And well, you hardly could tell anyone that you are a banker because people said, oh my God, it's a banker, right? So the whole industry suffered a little bit, right? But matter of fact, we all need a bank account, right? And there's nothing bad and wrong with it being a banker or offering financial services. Just, I think, due to the mismatch of, let's say, or the world abusing systems, obviously, the regulations went tougher and tougher, right? The banks probably used also the chance to ask for higher fees, whatever. And I see right now the transition going on from really, let's say, having a cash cow as a bank towards offering a service as a bank, right? And obviously, it's fair enough. Everyone can earn a cent or two with it to make their living, but the real purpose-driven aspect of a bank comes effect again, right? And all banks have, for example, 48 different interest calculation methods. Why that? I mean, don't confuse the world. Keep the things simple that every individual understand how things work. And that goes throughout the whole industry, right?
Yeah, it's mind-blowing that you are correct. Anybody today can have within their business financial services and have a bank. I think that's kind of mind-blowing for, I think so many people, it's their dream, right? To one day own a bank. And you know what? It could be real. Like it could be real.
And it's not about the bank, like you don't talk about duck and the name is different. what's in Germany call it Dog of a Duck, and what's the rich guy at the Donald Duck,
Yeah.
So that's not what you think about a bank. It's really about it's purpose driven, right? And if you buy a car, most people nowadays they finance the car directly from the auto bank connected to the car industry. But if you look, for example, you go for buying an apartment, you go with a realtor to check the apartments, then you need notary service, then you need a bank, you have different mortgages offer, you go to 5 banks, 6 banks. I mean, that's too complicated, right? Things have to meld together to keep it simple, right? You go in the future and say, I buy this apartment, how much is it in a month with my financial spectrum, rather than saying, I do step-by-step the approach. So, and this goes again, through any kind of industry, supermarkets, consumers, whatever.
Yeah. And let me ask you, Lars, so you are going to be an industry expert for someone, probably someone watching right now going, you know what, like I need to talk to Lars. But Lars, if you had to choose an industry expert that you would want to have access to, what kind of expert right now would you love to have access to?
Well, in general speaking, I think obviously one of those inspiring leaders I would like to see there, right? Richard Branson, people which are thinking outside the box, people which are, let's say, in their inner being of being successful as an entrepreneur, but still doing what they think is right to do, right? So I think it would be exciting to have.
Yeah. So on the cards for you, if I can go NFT Richard Branson, you're gonna be the
I make a bid for sure.
So I'm gonna ask you a question, Lars. Let's fast track to when you're 80 years old. And the 80-year-old version is looking at Lars right now. Is that version going to be proud, and why?
Oh, absolutely, he will be proud. I mean, always been proud of myself. I think he will be proud because he said, you always did what you felt to do, and you never rested, and you stay playful. I think that's the most important. Staying playful and trust your guts. Yeah, what you do.
Okay. What is your proudest moment so far in life, Lars?
Oh, for sure, when my daughter was born. I mean,
yeah,
doesn't take much consideration.
Okay. How old is your daughter?
12 years old.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And let me ask you now the question in reverse, the 8-year-old version. So the 8-year-old version of you, would the 8-year-old version want to hang out with you right now, and why?
Well, I don't think no 8-year-old will hang around with an old dude like me, right? The 8-year-old will just say, okay, if you take me out for Dubai Mall shopping and get me the Jordan shoes I'm proud of, that guy will stay around with me. But simplified spoken, yeah, at least, I mean, I probably could still beat the ass of some 8 years old in FIFA on the PlayStation or on any car game there.
Yeah, okay. And Lars, my last 2 questions. Who for you, if you had to, right now you can wave a magic wand, who would be your ideal buyer of your NFT? If you had to construct who, either it could be a person, it can be a government, it can be, if you had to construct what that ideal buyer would look like, who would that be?
Well, I think it should be someone which has probably the idea of revolutionize the fintech world or the banking world, right? And doesn't need only bank, but also things outside the box. What are additional services around there, right? My background was very huge in the area of banking. I tried not only the classical way of banking. I see in so many banks throughout my life as a consultant when I was part of PwC Accenture in very senior positions. But also I see, let's say, with Mbanq, the whole world of banking, right? From east to west, we have banks from Tonga all the way to Honolulu, from where the sun is rising, where the sun is setting. So obviously there are a lot of aspects to learn over the years, and I think I can really help to catalyze those ideas, right, and help them to focus on it.
Okay. And Lars, tell us what you do when you're not working. What are some of these hobbies that you have?
Well, nature. I mean, I bring it down to nature. I love the nature. I love horses. I love to hang around on the beach in Dubai, but I was in the Black Forest in Germany where my home is. So nature is what I really like to enjoy, and more and more with animals. Old days was probably more the horsepower in the cars, but now it's more the real horsepower underneath the saddle, right?
Okay. And how is that? I knew you took up polo. How is the polo game coming along,
Well,
Lars?
again, my 12-year-old is beating the hell out of me, and she's the one who's
And Lars, have you moved now permanently to Dubai from Germany, or you're here for the season?
absolutely. We moved completely to Dubai and really enjoy it. We say always homeland is Germany. That's where our, let's say, our part of our heart is. But home is now Dubai, and we completely transitioned and don't regret it. Things like meeting Sallyann and GLEAC and being part of these amazing stories don't happen where you are back in the Black Forest, right? And so I'm really happy to have the chance here to meet so many inspiring people in any kind of industry, driving, let's say, the new world of startups in any direction. And you really feel this on a daily basis here in Dubai. And probably you do the same here, Leanne, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's why I'm here also. All right. So we're going to end on this note. It's 5 years from now. And I haven't seen you for a while. And I hop on a plane and there's Lars sitting on the plane. And I look at you and I go, Lars, where are we going? We can be going anywhere. You get to dream up a place. And who have you become 5 years from now? Who have you become?
Well,
And
we're going together, obviously, to the launch of the missile, setting up my bank in the sky, right, for the satellite. And then, obviously, that bank has a name starting with a G and ending with a C, right?
There we go. There we go. We will end on that note. So, Lars, wholehearted, an absolute privilege to have you as one of the first NFTs. And, you know, it's such a beautiful project because it's really sharing with others and shortening the distance to wisdom. And I can't tell you how privileged I am to have you as part of this with us. I cannot tell you how excited I am for who acquires this NFT because you know they have an absolutely, you know, they're going to have an absolute pleasure with you not only in work but also in life. You're such an amazing human being. So Lars, thank you very, very much. And for everyone out there, if you have questions, put it in the LinkedIn chat and I will make sure it gets on to Lars and that way we can answer them for you. Have a great day, Lars. Back to work.
So much, pleasure is all with me, and good luck to your team and your human identities. Bye-bye.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Thank you.